Hello, my overthinking friends. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm talking about the OG YouTube What's in My Bag video that has been a staple on every beauty, fashion, and lifestyle channel since the dawn of YouTube, and that continues to be popular today. What is it about What's in My Bag videos that can turn such a seemingly mundane topic as a woman's purse into such an interesting watch? Today, we're talking about what these videos look like, who is making them, and my theory about why they have surpassed trend status and are now in classic status. What I am not particularly talking about here are the What's in My Bag videos geared towards a specific type of person or need, such as a What's in My Tech Bag video for an urban professional, or a What's in My Hospital Bag video for when someone is about to give birth. These videos are obviously instructional in nature, and a specific type of viewer with a specific need will watch these videos with the hopes of getting some insight and tips from them. This video is about those general What's in My Bag videos that are more chatty than instructional. I also want to say that I'm not trying to discourage anybody from enjoying What's in My Bag videos. I've been watching these videos for years and I still watch them to this day. The fact that I feel compelled to click on a What's in My Bag video whenever I see one is what inspired me to make this video. I clicked and started watching one and I thought, I already know pretty much everything this woman is going to pull out of that purse. And I was right. There were zero exciting surprises in this woman's purse, but I still thoroughly enjoyed the video and watched until the end like it was the most riveting entertainment ever. Why am I attracted to a basic video style about someone's everyday hauling around town handbag like a cat is attracted to catnip? Let's unpack. See what I did there?
I look oh, I look crazy, but do you want to know what's in my bag? Well,
We need to first point out the longevity of this video style. It has outlived pretty much all other types of OG YouTube content, besides perhaps the classic unboxing video. The first wave of What's in My Bag videos appeared on YouTube around 2010, and since then, they have just kept on coming. We'll touch more on why I think this is later in the video, but for now, let's look at how the video style itself has basically turned into its own genre featuring trends of its own. Back in the day, most of these videos could be found on channels aimed at preteen and teenage girls, as well as young women. This type of channel created content centered around makeup, fashion, and lifestyle. There was also a healthy dose of travel thrown in for the aspirational factor. I put travel in air quotes because most of this travel involved family vacations to Disney World or some other tourist spot that is not what we think of today when we hear the word travel on YouTube. But it is important because even if these weren't the most exotic trips, they were still out of reach for many families of the young girls who are watching. With the travel videos, plus all the other common videos these channels produced on rotation, like makeup and clothing hauls, room tours, closet tours, and what's on my iPhone videos, the young audience definitely felt a sense of being sold to, even if they didn't truly understand the implications of that. They may or may not have known about the euphemism keeping up with the Joneses, but they understood the feeling of feeling like their life was inadequate and therefore attaining some of these material items that the ladies showed in their videos would make their life complete, or at least somewhat better. In essence, they were being sold a lifestyle. Among these videos that bombarded girls with images of opulence that they didn't themselves have access to, the What's in My Bag video stood out. Whereas haul videos were all about showing off new things that someone got during her last shopping trip, which was probably not far removed from the shopping trip before that, the purse feels like a constant. It was just common sense that the lady in the video was not going to make a habit of using the new blush she showed very often when she showed 3 others in the same haul and just showed several more in her haul last week. In contrast, the contents of a handbag remained relatively stable, we assume. The items shown don't differ very much amongst women in general, so it helped the viewer form a connection or a sense of intimacy with the YouTuber who appears to have such a wildly different life than she herself has. Handbag trends have gone through countless iterations since the dawn of YouTube What's in My Bag videos. Early 2010s fashion had a lot going on. The overall aesthetic was slightly more subdued than the 2000s signature look, but it was still quite over the top. We saw a resurgence of bright colors and prints, large costume jewelry, and boho and grunge looks that would not let you think they were anything but what they were trying to be. This was not the era of expertly contrasting outfits by any means. The handbags during this time were similarly colorful, and plenty of What's in My Bag videos were made featuring a wide array of these bags. In 2014, Marie Kondo made minimalism cool. This was the beginning of a cultural shift that had people tossing junk out of their homes with reckless abandon. But when people began running out of things to toss, and the throw it away high, as I like to call it, became hard to come by, people started tossing different things: the plastic jewelry, leather bags, and excessive rips, beads, tassels, and embellishments in their outfits. The minimalist lifestyle trend was morphing into a fashion trend that trickled down to the handbags people wore and what they put in them. And so more What's in My Bag videos were made showcasing these new bags. Sometime around late 2015 to early 2016, the athleisure trend was evolving into the behemoth we know today. And in 2017, Kendall Jenner made an appearance wearing a fanny pack, an item we hadn't seen since the 90s, worn not on her fanny, but across her chest. It was a fashion revolution. And suddenly, the What's in My Fanny Pack video joined the ranks. And then the pandemic jolted us harder than an unexpectedly rough landing in a jumbo jet. With nowhere to go besides the grocery store, and with the normal contents of our purses buried under the palpable thicket of despair building up in our suddenly too small feeling homes, we resorted to creating a collection of videos that took the sameness to an entirely new level. When people left the house pre-pandemic, you could count on them having at least one interesting or funny item hanging around in the caverns of their bag. Looking at people's mask and hand sanitizer choices was interesting at first, but after I had seen 100 surgical masks and 1,000 bottles of Bath & Body Works hand sanitizer, there was legitimately nothing left new to see. But, like many others, I kept watching anyway. You can see where I'm going with this. Trends have evolved immensely over the last 12 years. Fashion trends, lifestyle trends, cultural trends, everything has changed. But one trend that hasn't gone out of style is the desire to look at what another person carries in their purse. Clearly, this isn't a style of video that is limited to a particular social climate or trend cycle. It rises above it all. We've seen many a bag over the years of What's in My Bag videos. Even if it's not the bag itself that keeps the viewer sticking around and watching the entire video, it may be what enticed the viewer to click on the video in the first place. The typical viewer of a What's in My Bag video is a teenage girl to young woman, a group that is heavily invested in keeping up with current fashion trends. For this reason, it is expected that the style of bag featured is a deciding factor in which video a viewer will choose to click on. I know that personally, I search for What's in My Bag videos based on the type of bag I'm interested in carrying. About 2 years ago, I went on a days-long binge of What's in My Fanny Pack videos because, no surprise, I wanted to hop on the fanny pack trend. I found the videos based on the fact that they're all were featuring fanny packs, but I diligently watched each one even though the items in each fanny pack were pretty much the same. Why did I continue watching even with diminishing returns the more videos I watched? That is still the question. Back in the early days of What's in My Bag videos, I would have been inclined to say that the What's in My Bag video was nothing more than a big designer purse palooza. After all, many of the OG YouTubers were selling an aspirational lifestyle. In fact, that's not the case. The handbags shown in these videos range from fashion house designers to contemporary designers to everyday lifestyle brands and fanny packs. There's really no standard on the price point of bag that tends to be shown in these videos. Aside from the aforementioned style trends that tend to dictate what sorts of bags are popular, does the specific bag itself matter at all? If every type of bag under the sun can star in its own video, then the popularity of the video trend as a whole probably has less to do with the bag and more to do with other aspects of the experience as a whole. But just to be extra sure that it's not the bags themselves that are causing people to relentlessly watch these videos, I did some very unscientific research to see if videos featuring designer handbags got more views and engagement than videos that featured normal handbags. And no, the answer is no. I looked at three channels that have been on YouTube for a long time and that have each done multiple What's in My Bag videos: Claudia Saluski, Lindsay Hughes, and Elle Fowler. Of course, these channels have had their ups and downs after so many years on YouTube, but I can't find any obvious correlation between the price of a designer of the bag and the amount of views the videos receive. Besides, in most videos, the creator will tell the audience the name of the bag and hold it up to show size, but they don't dwell on the bag itself. That would turn the video into a bag review, which is a completely different style of video that they've probably created as well, but they aren't doing that today. So we've ruled out the actual bag as the main factor that makes What's in My Bag videos so popular. Now, I want to pivot to the actual contents of the bags and look into the effects the items have on the overall What's in My Bag aesthetic and why it works. I categorize the items appearing in people's bags into three categories: everyday useful stuff, unnecessary junk, and flex items. The everyday useful stuff are the items like a wallet, phone, car keys, pen, all that expected stuff, plus maybe some items that not everybody has in their bag but are probably useful, such as a foldable, reusable shopping tote. P.S. I never leave the house without one of these. Then there's the unnecessary junk category, which encompasses everything from trash like gum wrappers and a Starbucks receipt from last month to random stuff that nobody really needs in their purse. Items like random socks, or Rubik's Cube, or an encyclopedia sized hardcover book. Finally, there's what I call the flex items category. This is all the stuff that isn't unnecessary in the way that a Rubik's Cube is unnecessary, but it's stuff that is basically there to maintain looks and status and feelings of prestige. Things I see often in this category are designer wallets and sunglasses, a makeup bag stuffed with a nearly full face worth of beauty products, or ticket stubs for a popular Broadway show just to prove they attended. So, with the exception of the completely random items like a Rubik's Cube, the contents of most people's bags are pretty standard, and those random, oddball items, while funny, are not helpful to the viewer. It's not like anybody will say, "That's what I've been missing in my purse all this time: a baby cactus." Even though many of these YouTubers use their privilege and wealth as a tool to help them create clickable content, I think many of them understood that what they presented as a normal, everyday middle class life was not the norm for the majority of their viewers. This is crystal clear in many YouTubers' answers to the question, "Are you rich?" that came up in every Q&A or assumptions about me video. They would always say something along the lines of, "We're comfortable," or "We do well," or "My parents have great jobs." However, what's conspicuously missing is the answer, "I work really hard on producing these videos, and I use the money I earn from them to buy things that I like." And I have thoughts on that, but that's another video. Thumbs up if you want to see a video on that messy topic. This phenomenon is what I call the self-depreciating factor of What's in My Bag videos. By the way, this shows up in many other types of videos too, not just What's in My Bag videos. Most of the bags shown include a fair mix of items from all of the three categories above, and I don't think that's an accident. In our consumeristic society, we like to show off, but we also don't want to stand out and make ourselves a target. Take what happened to Kim Kardashian. In 2016, Kim was robbed at gunpoint while staying in a Paris hotel. After the attack, the robbers stated that they had put together their plan based on information that Kim posted on Snapchat regarding valuables she had with her, plus the fact that she was alone in the hotel room. After the attack, Kim completely changed how she uses social media. She now focuses on posting more content promoting her business ventures and less content promoting herself as a commodity by showcasing her personal possessions and glamorous lifestyle. Kim realized after her traumatic experience that showing off all the glamorous details of her life made her a target. This isn't to blame her, but it is a fact that she was targeted because the robbers saw items that they wanted that Kim had and they were going to take them. This is awful, and I'm so sorry that this happened to her, but I think it collectively taught social media users a valuable lesson, which is that people who follow your life don't always mean well. To that end, it is understandable that in between showing off a designer handbag, designer wallet, and a luxury car fob, many of the videos also feature wads of used tissues and month-old candy wrappers to balance a social clout chasing with the need to protect oneself from the hazards that come with said clout and visibility. On the heels of the Great Recession of 2008, consumer spending during this time was spotty, to say the least. This is especially true for the millennial generation, the generation famous for living in their parents' basements after graduation, saddled with student loan debt because they couldn't find well paying jobs, thanks to being spit out into the job market in the middle of a recession that generations before them had graciously constructed for them. Don't I sound salty? Companies waiting for a return to normality following the recession may be disappointed. Their customers have tried cheaper products and actually like them. During the recession, people had less money, and so they spent less money. That makes sense. But what companies didn't expect was the cultural shift in spending habits that had people less enthused about spending money on higher priced items. People tried lower priced goods and brands out of necessity, and many found that their experience with these products was as good or better than the so called premium product options. But just because many people either could not or were not choosing to splurge on high end goods, it doesn't mean that they didn't enjoy living vicariously through those who could. Living vicariously is an odd concept. One would think that ogling at the possessions and lives that we can't have for ourselves would feel discouraging, demeaning, and depressing. But basic observation shows the opposite effect, with the continued popularity of shows such as The Real Housewives, Selling Sunset, and whatever the Kardashians are doing these days. So even though most consumers were looking for deals and weren't spending lavishly on designer goods, that doesn't mean they weren't just as interested as ever in looking at that lifestyle on screen. As a result, during this period of time, people were living vicariously through the purses of the up and coming influencer crowd, while shopping bargains and more sustainable items for themselves. The self depreciating factor was a profound component of the What's in My Bag video formula for both participants, the creator and the viewer. For the viewer, seeing the creator depreciate themselves is an important part of the overall experience. It allows the viewer to connect with the creator as an imperfect person. A video, like an Instagram feed, is a spliced together collage of a person's best moments and angles, and it doesn't represent reality. We all know this, yet we all seem to forget it exactly when it matters, the moment when we're watching somebody else's perfection on a screen. On the other side of the coin, the creator uses it as a self preservation mechanism while producing content that was back then, and currently still is, going against the overall social climate that has been increasingly putting higher value on experiences rather than on material goods. Therefore, the creator uses the self depreciating factor as a figurative olive branch to the viewer to apologize for something that they don't need to apologize for, but are socially contracted to rationalize their elevation on the wealth hierarchy. And this doesn't just apply to creators who are showing off their Chanel bags. Any person who has the privilege to sit in front of a camera and talk about things they own that are of interest to others knows that they must obfuscate their place in the hierarchy in order to avoid scrutiny. But wait, didn't I just say that the bags shown in the videos don't matter? If what people are looking for is to live vicariously through these YouTubers who have nice things, then why do What's in My Bag videos showing purses from Target get just as many views? Here's where things get interesting. The more I delve into the elements that make up a What's in My Bag video, the more incongruent everything appears, and the less sense it seems to make. So, in order to understand the long standing appeal of What's in My Bag videos, we need to differentiate the reasons between why people click on the first one or two videos versus why they continue watching the videos long term. According to Sarah Quinlan, the permanent wealth loss suffered in 2008, along with the shock of major American companies seemingly going bust overnight, did a number on our sense of what could be taken away. We value a sense of what's permanent, what we can take with us, memories. The handbag is an intimate and compact look into somebody's life. It is a simple bar to measure your own status against, and it feels like it tells a full enough story about this person's life that we are satisfied with the result without having to question the variables too much. What feels like a good thing for simplicity's sake is actually more damaging because it removes nuance. Obviously, people watch any type of video for various reasons. One person's reasons for watching a video may be completely different than another person's reasons for watching. That being said, I think the plethora of reasons can be distilled down to one emotion: envy. We are told all the time to not compare ourselves to others. The psychological harms of comparison are well documented as causing depression, anxiety, or worse. Yet it's a habit that is difficult to shake. Many of us have been comparing ourselves all our lives since it was pretty much encouraged in school growing up. Anybody have horror stories from PE class? Because I sure do. But like a moth to a flame, or when you drive by a car accident and you know morally you should stop rubbernecking, but you just can't peel your eyes away, simply telling yourself to stop is easier said than done. Maybe you didn't click on a What's in My Bag video to compare your social, financial, and moral worth to the person in the video. But now that you're here, it doesn't hurt to observe a few benchmarks, right? Wrong. You don't need me to explain why this is harmful to your mental well being because you hear it all the time. I'm guilty of this too. I click on a video under the guise of learning about the bag, or I want to know what sort of stuff this person carries around vacationing in Las Vegas or whatever, but I end up taking mental notes not on the usefulness of the items or on the effectiveness of the bag, but on the social status implied by the total picture. What do I mean by this? I end up taking into account the number of designer items I count, the newness of the items and the assumed prices. I also may start subconsciously considering the video quality, the lighting, the person's clothing and accessories, how their hair and makeup looks. Is that lip filler I see? It has to be. Her lips can't be that much more beautiful than mine. The rabbit hole is miles deep, and it always ends in a dead end. Perhaps you are well aware that the items presented in your chosen What's in My Bag video are way out of your financial league. This sounds to me like a good way to sink yourself into envy induced despair, but as we know, thanks to the popularity of the Kardashians, people actually do enjoy ogling at luxury that they will never likely themselves attain. A What's in My Bag video by Kylie Jenner featuring her rare black Birkin bag, and where 80% of the items she pulled out of said Birkin were products from her own lines, received well over 11 million views as of this recording. The entire video is basically an ad for Kylie's products, but viewers are apparently okay with that. They are watching for no reason other than to rubberneck. Why are so many people so happy to watch a video that is so disingenuous and unhelpful? Like comparison, living vicariously often starts out innocently enough, where you are just having fun imagining yourself in more glamorous circumstances than you have. But it can quickly spiral down from innocent daydreaming into a situation where you stop living your own life while focusing intently on the lives and experiences of others. According to BetterHelp, people may live vicariously because it allows you to experience rewards without having to risk your own failures. You can tap into the feeling of achievement without putting in the work that may or may not pay off. It lets you explore personas and lifestyles that you cannot have in real life and allows you to navigate the world through a different perspective without committing to any big changes. Living vicariously lets you have countless new experiences without stepping outside the prescribed boundaries around you. All of this sounds like such a downer, but I promise, we're not all doomed for watching What's in My Bag videos. When we hear the word envy, our minds often go straight to the swamp with the big green monster lurking in the muddy water. Although envy often has negative connotations, it isn't always harmful, and in some cases, it can actually be helpful. When a person feels envious of somebody else, they will sometimes find that it translates into motivation to work harder to attain their desired results. It is important to point out here the difference between envy and jealousy. While envy's focus is mainly on possessions, achievements, or status that the person does not have but would like to attain, jealousy's focus is to protect and keep something that a person already has and doesn't want to lose, such as an intimate personal relationship or a certain status at work. A person watching a What's in My Bag video may be envious of the bag featured, the possessions within the bag, or something about the person presenting the bag, but they're likely not jealous in the true sense of the word, as they have nothing to lose by a person on the internet sharing what is in their bag or just existing as they are. Whether the envy turns out to be destructive or motivational is up to the individual viewer, which is why it is difficult to make a judgment on whether What's in My Bag videos are helpful or harmful as a whole, because each viewer internalizes them differently. Everything I've talked about so far is pretty self explanatory. On the surface, the video topic is rather mundane, and based in what we've just discussed, they may not be all that healthy either. So, why do people still enjoy watching them so much? Besides the obvious, which is either to see the bag itself to help with the purchasing decision or to see the contents of the bag in order to look for packing tips or product suggestions, those would be, I think, practical reasons for watching this type of video. I'm not convinced that these are the reasons why most people really enjoy watching these videos. We like to live vicariously, we have an unrelenting urge for comparison, we want packing tips. All of these are reasons why people may click on a What's in My Bag video. But ultimately, I think the most prevalent reason is one that goes unnoticed. Common sense says that YouTubers create videos they know their viewers want to see. Since there are so many of these videos that all basically show the same content, plus the fact that the trend of these videos isn't even a trend at all, since the What's in My Bag video seems almost just as popular today as it was 10 years ago, there must be another reason why people are still watching sometimes multiple videos by the same creator, even when the only thing that changes is the bag itself and the host's outfit. And perhaps the brand of gum or the pen changes too, but nobody truly cares about that stuff. So what gives? I emphasize the word truly because there are different standards of caring about something. We experience this when we listen to something like a close friend grumbling about how her Wi Fi at work is super slow and her office manager never remembers to order printer ink. You don't really care about those office problems. They're just normal, everyday bummers that people who work in offices deal with. But you listen intently to your friend because you care about her. You don't necessarily care about the content, but you care about the person. The same goes for vlogs titled something along the lines of My Life at Home in My House. Unless you're watching people who are intentionally creating drama for views, these videos aren't all that exciting. The vloggers show themselves cooking meals, cleaning their bedrooms, sitting at their desk working, and maybe going on an outing to the post office. Why is this interesting to people? Well, it's not. It isn't the content of this vlogger's day that is interesting. The interesting part is the sense of camaraderie and friendship that you feel with this person who is living their everyday life just like you. If you haven't heard of a mukbang video, where have you been? A mukbang is a cinematically simple video where a host eats gluttonous amounts of food while speaking to the audience. Some mukbang videos are meant to be chatty and focus more on the host speaking to the audience rather than the food itself. The food is an accessory, some other element in the video to look at besides just the host staring at the camera, talking head style. Then there are the mukbang videos where the food is the star and the host is basically playing sidekick to the food. Think ASMR. No matter what the style, mukbang videos all seem to have two things in common. Number one, unhealthy food. Food is a biological necessity that society has turned into a form of entertainment. It is also an icebreaker and an equalizer. Having food in social situations adds an extra layer to the fun because it gives people something to talk about and creates funny moments with all the inevitable drips and spills. It can also act as a crutch in awkward or uncomfortable situations by giving people something to do with their hands and allowing them to bridge awkward silences with chewing or lifting a drink to their mouth. Because of the social expectation that food is to be mutually enjoyed, people tend to default to unhealthier food in social situations in order to avoid being that person who is eating a salad and making everybody who chooses a burger or pizza feel badly about themselves. Thanks, diet culture. Likewise, it's almost unheard of to see someone doing a mukbang while eating a platter of celery sticks. While consuming food in social situations, it is also inevitable that people will be talking with their mouths full, exactly as our parents told us not to do. It is just par for the course when people are eating and socializing at the same time. Unless the mukbang is of the ASMR style, the host will likely be speaking to the camera with food in their mouth, just as they would be if you were sharing a meal with them in real life. The purpose of a mukbang is to replicate a social situation that basically everyone is familiar with, eating together with friends or people you have relationships with. It's an experience that many people deeply missed and craved during the lockdowns. But it's not just limited to the last 2 years. When everybody was forced to isolate, it brought loneliness to the forefront of conversation because it became so widespread. But we forgot that there was plenty of loneliness hidden in plain sight long before March 2020. A study published in the Journal of Adolescence that surveyed over 1 million teenagers showed that in 2018, nearly twice as many teens displayed elevated levels of loneliness compared to 2012. It's not just young people who are suffering. A study of over 2,000 older adults aged 50 to 80 showed that in 2018, 34% of respondents reported feeling a lack of companionship, 27% felt isolated from others, and 28% had infrequent social contact. And all of these numbers only got higher when a second survey was performed in June of 2020. That's a lot of lonely people who need social interaction, but aren't getting enough of it. To fill the gap, they turn to the internet. Specifically, they turn to videos where the host gives the appearance of speaking directly to you, giving you the feeling of interacting with another person. Even more specifically, they may seek out mukbang videos because social eating is such a common experience that it is an easy one to default towards. The hosts are also eating copious amounts of what we often associate as comfort food. When you're alone and you don't want to be, the experience of feeling like someone is conversing with you over a generous shared meal is infinitely comforting. In the previous section, I mentioned how I thought the reason that people watch What's in My Bag videos was because of envy. Meanwhile, the popularity of mukbang videos is due in large part to loneliness. These seem like wildly different ideas on the surface, but when you consider the human need for connection and a sense of belonging, it all makes perfect sense. Envy is the nagging feeling of discontent that comes about when others appear to have what we don't have. A person frequently watching mukbang videos is likely envious of what the host brings to the table. No, not the piles of fast food, although that could be a factor. I'm talking about the appearance of comfort and contentedness that comes with not being or eating alone. Envy, for better or worse, implores us to seek out and attain what we don't have. We watch what we don't have in order to experience the feeling of having it. Where does this leave us with What's in My Bag videos? I see it like this. Everybody eats food, and everybody also uses a bag. Perhaps not every day, but everybody, at some point, puts things in a carrying vessel and takes it on the go with them. Like food, the bag is an equalizer. It bridges differences that allows people to form connections over shared handbag philosophies and ideologies. It doesn't matter what sort of bag it is, the brand name, or what's in the bag, really. What matters is the sense of intimacy that the viewer feels with the host. In a world where things feel so unequal, we search for places where we can feel like equals, share experiences, build connections, and feel like a part of something. The reasons people watch What's in My Bag videos are social reasons, not materialistic reasons. Maybe, like me, some people initially search for a What's in My Bag video because they want to see the capacity of a particular bag or see what people fit in their fanny packs during pandemic times, or get ideas for wallets that don't take up half the space in an already teeny bag. But then, also like me, they continue clicking on video after video because it makes them feel less alone in times when we're still being discouraged from socializing in person. The feeling can be compared to having quality best friend time at a sleepover. Those moments when the topics of conversation are the most unremarkable is when you feel the most seen and heard. Those moments may look mundane to outsiders looking in, but they don't feel mundane to you. To the contrary, these are the moments that help you and other young girls and women understand themselves and navigate their world.